Okay, we're still talking about the 44. There's still some things that you absolutely have to see that you're just gonna have, it's gonna leave you no doubts in your understanding that what I'm telling you has some very serious truth to it. Okay, but it's up to you to be able to receive this truth based upon your level or your current level of understanding. Okay? So, some of you have already seen this before. I hope you don't mind a small recap that's going to help us to identify what this equation is really telling us and what it's really all about. Now, once again, I found this scripture here in Job to match my fractal diagram after I did it, not before. And this is unbelievable how we're going to find out how this thing connects to this fractal equation here. So let me go ahead and read verses 31 and 32 and you'll understand. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of the Pleiades or loose the bands of Orion? All right, we're going to go ahead and stop right there because I've already talked about this. These names are all based as constellations. And I want you to see that the constellations are even split up into 4 groups. Now, once again, 4 separate groups: math, arts, religion, and science. And then I've teamed them up into 4 dimensions of directional travel, or 4 dimensions of variable travel, or the 4 avenues of change, or the 4 rivers of change, or the 4 winds of change, the 4 corners, the 4 angels, whatever you want to call it. But the Bible is telling you that that is what this is going on. Now, everything is based upon the duality of knowledge of good and evil, so it makes perfect sense that these avenues are being figuratively compared as avenues of knowledge, with which create their own dimensional travel, their own dimensional ideologies that you can either be liberated or captivated by. If you see separation here, you are captivated. Okay, and you're led further and further away from the central truth or understanding, which would be the Eden before the separation. So you don't want to see separation here. You want to see the harmony of all of these 4 working together, and therefore the equation doesn't run you outward, it brings you inward. But the separation has been taking place, and then the fractivation takes place. So without the overriding free will, and then we see by the narrative of Adam and Eve, we see that that free will was jeopardized, that they literally chose with free will to take this directional equational route, of which we're all bound into this very day. So I want you to see here, we're talking about this again because of Job, and let's break these lines down in Job. First, see that you're seeing an iron cross, okay? This is 1 leaf of the cross, 1 leaf of the cross, 1 leaf of the cross, 1 leaf of the cross. Now, you know the Templar Knights, the whole thing with the Nazis, it's all iron cross. Remember, Satan says he travels to and fro, up and down, all over the earth. Those are the 4 corners, the 4 compass cardinal points that he's telling you he covers the whole globe with his deception. And now we find out his equational path of travel is through that of the rivers of knowledge, of which he himself is the bringer of wisdom, which is absolutely related to knowledge. But wisdom isn't knowledge itself, it's how knowledge is used. So this knowledge is being used by his wisdom to deceive. And I hope you can keep up with what I'm trying to tell you. So now we see the iron cross now turns into Orion cross. The constellation Orion. Now we're going to understand what these bands of Orion are and what the bands of these iron cross is. Iron bands, iron cross, bands of Orion. Now we see, canst thou bind the sweet influences of the Pleiades? We've got these sweet influences, they're right in front of your face. Or loose the bands of Orion? Well, what is the bands of Orion? It's this iron cross, okay, which is covering the 4 cardinal points of destiny, which is controlling all of your destinies by this equational input of negativity, creating this output of negativity, which is the reality in the world around you. Now, this is the sweet influences of the Pleiades. There's the apple, there's the sweet influences. I'll be back.